That's what it was.
Justin, I think I want my chair.
What's that?
My chair was more comfortable. Let's do some moving.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
All right, I'll grab it.
It fits my bazooka.
Yeah, the blue chairs are definitely more comfortable. Somebody keeps taking mine.
Well, Spike, I don't know what you're talking about. I'll change the chair at all.
I don't know. I got it through there. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Maybe that way. Maybe that was, oh, no. I definitely didn't lift it. Thank you.
Something changed with the
Do you need
internet
a
here.
copy
It
of the
says no
agenda?
internet.
I'm just checking. I
But
couldn't
it's
get
as
the
if
pull
I'm
up today.
logged
I'm
on.
good.
Sorry.
It's pretty much the norm. I was just looking to see.
Oh, yeah. Same old.
We had, like, everything was down all day today.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Chair there.
Mm. I tried getting in the lumberyard, but it's.
Just, did you not have touch with it?
Yeah, I think I did, but. I don't know what the. Yeah. Mhm.
So I put your, you have your phone.
Maybe it works.
Is the,
There we go.
Yeah, sounds good.
join.
Are we on? You know it?
Oh, I know the little green light's on. Yeah.
I can go turn it off if you need me to. I just didn't.
No, I'm
I didn't know if
gonna
we
go
were
ahead
on
and,
live.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Being recorded.
Yeah, is it being recorded?
Yeah, I already started it.
All right, thank you.
What about our little recorder here?
Nothing wrong with it.
You must first dial one.
I'm bothered.
Good.
I feel like I got that. Try to call in.
Oh, the little blue lights came on.
Is this your stuff, Justin, or is this just new?
It's, beverages.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Nice. I asked for advice and he just said, oh, we have some phones. We could probably
Sweet.
hook you up. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good thing. It works really well. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Do we need to talk for anything or that's,
Is it not working?
no.
Well,
Is there some secret to dialing out here or just a one?
It might be worth trying. I'm sure we're gonna get that hourly bill either way.
Yeah.
You know how the lawyers are, right?
No.
Yeah.
Here, it should be the right.
I'll try that. I'll try that without. Yeah,
Are you calling Todd directly?
I'll try one. Let's see who it dials. All this being recorded, awesome. Another TV land.
Please enter a conference ID followed by a
Good, call them a 9.
You set that mic down at the very end of the table so we pick up the crowd. Thank you. I want to hear me.
If you're
You're loud enough, right?
user, press star now. Please enter your PIN and then press pound.
I don't know.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Please enter your PIN and then press
Is it
pound.
new or is it the same?
Sorry, I didn't get that. Please enter your PIN and then press pound. Sorry, the pin that you got matched the meeting.
I believe you can do it.
Yeah.
Well, this is so somber. Please enter a If you're the meeting organizer, press star now. You're now joining the meeting.
If you hang it over the edge, is that anybody all right?
What's that?
Hang the mic over the edge so we don't have feedback.
No, it shouldn't have
I
feedback.
think it would, but shouldn't.
Yeah,
I think it's good now.
I'm not sure what that was.
Okay. Should we start?
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order, September 28th. Roll call. Brad,
Yes.
Justin,
Here.
Annie. Here. Kim,
Present.
is there anybody else is Brett on the line? You know,
Todd is sort of on here. He said he thinks he's muted on. It's having trouble admitting this phone here into the conference. He's on here, so maybe I can use my speakers and turn it up here. Hey, Todd, can you hear us? Yep. Okay, well, we're ironing out problems with the conference phone, so this is as good as it'll get for the time being, I guess.
And Brett's not on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just Todd.
Can you guys still hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Much better.
I had to put my headphones on.
all right.
All right.
Okay, is
With that, I move to adopt the agenda.
there anybody wants any changes or anything? Need a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of adopting the agenda? If everybody had a chance to read the minutes, they were on, that's Friday.
There's something I wanted to. Oh, I know what it was. This section on the back, third paragraph. Do we need to have the minutes reflect the exact decision of 1 for every 4? Wasn't that what was decided? Do you remember that, Melanie?
I wasn't sure how to actually word it, so I think that's what it was.
Just detail that with 1 for every
Okay,
4.
because that's, yeah, I'm sure that's what was said. I just didn't. I will change it.
With that change, I think.
One day for every 4 that she's.
Yeah. And with that change, I move to approve.
That's fine.
All in favor of the minutes with that change? That's it. Unanimous? Do we have any changes to the appropriation?
I'll move to approve appropriation 1478.
Okay.
Did I miss something? Did we get the funding already for the Spark grant? Or are they just buying the tablets and then we get reimbursed with it, or how did that work?
As far as I know, we were turned down for the water out at the lake, and then they were gonna review it. I don't think we've received any funding, have we?
I'm pretty sure that with the tablets, they were for sure approved, and that's what it was that they would get reimbursed. Which Mike can clarify that, but I'm pretty
I
sure.
think that's right. That makes sense anyway.
Then I'll second Brett's motion.
All right. Tim,
Yes.
Annie,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Brett.
Yes.
Do we have any public concerns or comments? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Russ Flynn. We're at 44 West Glen Hills Drive. I tried to be here on the 24th of August, but that held up, so I wasn't able to be here. We've got some unattended boats or barges, work barges, and here's some pictures of the issue. And I believe they belong to Mr. Johnston from Eskridge. He builds docks out there. He built the 2-decker dock right next to us. 3 years ago, he started on it, and those boats have been here ever since. Been there ever since.
Do they ever move?
No,
Okay.
never have. Other than when he was using them. I don't think they run, and I don't think they're registered. So they're pretty much an eyesore for our little inlet down there.
We will contact him and ask him to remove.
Am I looking at a dock here with a boat on the other side of it? Is this?
No, that's number 44 up in the top right-hand corner. You can just see their little cabin there. And this is an old pontoon that had been retrofitted with all of his equipment and tools and everything.
Okay. Now I see it.
Yeah, the 2-story dock is over here that he built. Our place is right here.
Have you
Is
spoke with
this
Mr.
his
Johnston?
That's his too. No, I haven't.
Probably.
And this yellow?
Did he sold?
No, Somebody was supposed to find a number and then get in contact with him, but I don't believe that happened.
The
Yeah, the
yellow,
cell phone.
this
Who
is the
was
first
that?
I've heard of this. I
Who was
heard,
supposed to do that?
Somebody in the city of Eskridge, the Eskridge email that I sent it to.
this yellow boat here, is that another one of those?
Yes, it is. That one's got a big winch thing on it that you can't see because it's covered up by the trees. Actually, that yellow one's out. It has moved. I don't know if it's unroped or what, but it has moved out a little bit out in front of those trees. So you can see both of them.
And they don't even belong to a dock, or just boats
No.
sitting out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Brian Johnston, I believe, unless he sold them. I don't know. There was talk that he was going to sell them at one time. That came from the guy that built our dock.
Well, if they still belong to him, I think he needs to bring the permits up to par and then do something with them in that order.
Well, he can remove them off the lake if he's not
Yeah.
working. They don't need to be sitting on the lake at all.
But I still believe he needs to bring the permits up to par first. If they haven't been.
And I don't know that they not put permitted. I can't see the numbers on them or anything.
Okay,
Whatever the most current permit is, obviously, from there.
we'll
forward.
notify him and ask him to, ask him what he's doing with them. He still owns them. We'll do a little detective work for you.
Yeah, if we can get them out of there, that
Sounds
Kind
like
of,
a fun job for tomorrow.
we just built a new dock out there and it's nice sitting on there. But, when we look over there and see those things, it's, kind of distressing.
Thank you for bringing that to our
All right.
attention.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Flynn.
Anybody else? We're supposed to see them on that board this evening.
I think it was just during the meeting.
Mona's here, and do we want to talk to her now so that she doesn't have to sit here all day? I think we asked her to come to a meeting about her property.
Yeah, we usually try to do those tours up front anyway, so I
Okay.
don't have a problem with it if you guys do.
I do not.
Okay, Mona, I know that we sent you a letter about your property. Could you tell us, what your plans are for that?
I'm sorry, what?
Go ahead, Annie, would you talk? She's hard.
She said, we sent you a letter about your property and we were wondering what your plans are with that.
Well, two of their trucks are fixed. And when I get paid, I wanna go tag them. So I can drive them, and that's the best advertising, is to drive them around, and then I'm gonna get pictures of them and get them in the paper. The third one still needs a part, and I'm waiting for that. And the two sets of jet skis work, but people weren't very jet ski buying this summer, and then the two individual ones, I'm working on those, and that's why I have them right by my house, so it's easy to work on them. I didn't cover them up, which I usually do, but, I will, and what I really like to do is put a gate in my wooden fence about halfway down and put everything in there so that they're not just sitting out there.
They've been there for quite a few years. They've been there for quite a while, Mona. It would be nice if you could move them to your backyard at least. The trucks that you're getting ready to sell, is the property tax up and are they tagged?
So what?
Are the trucks that you said you fixed and they're running, do they have tags on them? The property tax
No,
is
that's
paid?
what I was gonna do. I get paid. I'm gonna go get tags and taxes for those two, so I can drive them around with for sale signs on them because people see that. And
Mona, you might try and put it on the, Facebook, on the for sale, page that they have.
on
But, yeah,
Esther's by
yeah, I'm trying that, and my sister does a lot of advertising, merchandising, and she's trying to do some real creative advertising for me to put in the paper or on Facebook or something,
so you have got two trucks that are running.
Yes,
Good.
a Ford and a Dodge, and then
Mhm.
the other Dodge, I'm waiting on a part, and then the two lights that are on top have got knocked down, so I wanna put them back up, and then it will be ready to sell. And in the meantime, like I said, I wanna put it and those jet skis in the back, and even the ones that are fixed, because people probably aren't gonna buy them over the winter. I'm still gonna advertise them, but the likelihood of selling them now until April or so is pretty slim, but, and the boat I would put back there too. I had a couple people look at it, but I'm putting carpet and seats in it, and they wanted them, but they wanted them for nothing, so, or wanted it for nothing, so I would put the boat back there also. That's why, putting the gate in there would be nice. I could put all that stuff back in there. And,
Mona, do you have a timeline for when you might be able to get this done?
well, I'm hoping 30 days at the most. I went in and talked to a guy, and he said it doesn't take that long to do, just a few hours. You just take one panel off my wooden fence, cut it in half, put the hinges up, and lock, and you're done. So
Mona, if you get this done, if you will notify us and I'll come and verify it, then you don't have to come back to another meeting.
sure.
but if you, don't have it done, then I'm gonna ask you to come back to a meeting or, Todd, is Todd there?
Yeah.
Todd, is that all right that we do it that way, or does she have to have a hearing now?
Well, I think that this is the hearing.
I think you're right, yeah.
Because, and you guys can continue it for as long as you want, but ultimately, if it's not satisfied, then you'll end up having to cut it off.
Okay, thank
And
you,
then issue an order.
thank you.
What's gonna happen in 30 days? So you're talking about 30 days. What
See-
exactly is going to happen at the end of 30 days?
That you're going to, have these vehicles up for sale and you're gonna advertise them. You're gonna fix the third one so that it runs and moves.
Right.
You're going to move your skis, jet skis and things to your back.
Well, I would put all of them back in there also, even the ones that are fixed, because even though I'm advertising them, it's just not the time of year to buy jet skis.
So you're gonna put them to your backyard?
Yes,
Okay, go ahead, Brett.
behind the gate. Unless down at the end of my yard where the chain link fence is, I could put it down there and put a gate down there. But I would rather have them in the backyard because people have hands that seem to walk off with my stuff.
Yes.
So in 30 days, you're gonna have that whole front of your property cleaned up? Basically.
Have you not seen it other than the vehicles?
I've seen it, well, to be honest, I've seen it over the last 15 years and not a truck has moved, not a ski jet has moved, nothing has moved. So when you talk about you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that, to be quite honest, I don't believe you.
Everything's been moved because we rode the jet skis, both of the
It's just, I'm not trying to pick on you. It's real hard to go after other people when you're not willing to go after these people. I'm not a believer in singling people out. If we're going to go after other people around town, then everybody applies. It just so happens that your property is one of them.
And what are you saying?
If we're going to go after other people to clean up their property, we need you to clean up your property as well.
Right,
It's only fair.
right. And so, and I've driven around town. I see the property
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
needs
yeah.
cleaned up.
Oh, yeah.
But you said you haven't seen anything change at my property, but you must not drive by there.
I will drive by there. I'll drive by there tonight. when we leave.
No, the first letter I got said blighted property, and what through my mind was, I got all the stuff on my porch and underneath, and I just need to clean it up. And I really worked hard, and I was so proud of myself, and it's never looked this good. And then we lined the jet skis and stuff all up, and I do that every winter and put them in a neat place because they're probably not going to go anywhere, and cover them. And the guys that helped me this winter said, "Don't cover them, leave them uncovered." And I said, "Why?" And he said,
Mona, we've sent you more than one letter, honey. You just need to get this done in 30 days.
"Yeah, I got that one last year where we discussed."
That's right. It's been a while.
There is no equipment or furniture or has ever been in my yard. And you and I discussed that. But yes, 30 days, give me 30 days to put a gate in. And those vehicles, if they're not sold, I'll put them back there. But,
I'm fine with that.
and the jet skis, but
That'll be fine.
vehicles are a thing. You gotta have what people want to sell them. And a jet ski is kind of the same way, but they're a lot harder, but that, I would definitely put them all back there. And the trucks, if I'm advertising and they haven't sold in 30 days, there's no reason not to put them back there either because.
Okay, Mona, that'll be October 28th, would be the last, October 28th.
The gate to be in and stuff.
Well,
to
for
be
you
away.
to have that straightened out in the front, up front there. And we've had a couple of complaints, so.
Just be good. It needs to be specific.
You need to have your jet skis moved, the vehicles moved. Put as much as you can in the back, and then we'll look at it and see if that's acceptable.
The vehicles that are for sale, do they have to be
You
behind?
can
the
line
gate,
them
or
up and they
be
can
in the
look good.
driveway?
You
Just
said,
not where they're at, but they're.
well, I'll I'll be glad to come by and look. I'll be glad to come by and look.
Okay,
Put for sale sign in them too, kid.
okay,
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
You bet.
Isn't that something we need to agree upon? I mean, to be honest, you just have to have made that deal with her. Isn't that something we need to agree upon?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I mean,
I thought you were involved with that.
no, I'm good with that, but what about the rest of it?
Okay.
I'm good with that too. I think we normally give people 30 days after we talk to them for the first time. I don't think that's out of precedent at all with what we've done in the past.
The only thing red flag that I was seeing coming up is if she's just merely gonna move the trucks around on her property. Don't we have an ordinance that if you have a vehicle that's not tagged, you need to get it tagged, get it put away, something? We don't want trucks sitting or vehicles sitting around.
Yeah, I have all those out at my place. I make Joe tag and license them all the time, every year.
Well,
But they're also antiques, so.
she's talking about just moving those vehicles around, but not tagging them yet, is what I think I heard.
Yeah, I think she talked about wanting to tag them so she could drive them around and advertise them, but that's another thing. They just need to be.
Well, my point is I don't think that we need to permit her to just simply move a vehicle from A to B. It's still in her front yard. It's still not tagged. We're not fixing any problem at all by taking it from here and parking it right here.
This should have been said when she was sitting here. We just let her leave and now we're still discussing it.
You said that the first time, and then you just had to re-explain it. She should understand that. She said she was gonna tag them, right?
Yes, she did say she was
She
gonna tag.
understands,
Yeah.
so.
And insurance.
Like, it's definitely, in 30 days, if she didn't do it, then.
We'll go down, take a look and.
Okay.
And the code is about inoperable motor vehicles,
30 more.
not necessarily untagged. It's just presumed that an untagged vehicle is inoperable. If she could drive them around, they're not junk motor vehicles.
Okay, thanks, Todd.
I think it's so you don't have a junkyard in your backyard.
Yeah. Having them registered certainly goes further improving that it's operable though.
Okay,
All right.
so is Mike online?
No,
All right.
Todd's the only one.
Did Mike want you to say anything tonight? All right. And Carrie, do you have a little report for us or anything?
The only thing, and I don't know if you want it now or not, I did have someone call to discuss something that's down here, so I don't know.
Is it Jeff?
Yes.
I can take it. Just remind me.
Okay.
Mhm.
Other than that, no.
All right. And we did have some technical difficulties here at City Hall, so we weren't able to do the prep that we normally do, and Carrie had to put up with it all day today. And that's what happens when the lights go on and off sometimes in Eskridge. Annie, do you have anything?
I did, but I don't.
Oh,
We were supposed to be getting bids for general contractors. Unfortunately, I only got one bid and it was double our budget, so it is definitely not going forward. So I'm gonna talk to everybody that I mailed a letter to, an invitation to bid, and see, why they didn't. One thing I do want to ask everybody before I move forward is that the way the architect helped me write the advertisement was that we wanted bonded general contractors, which is kind of a protection for us. However, it's really expensive to be bonded and it knocks out anybody that's local or like smaller businesses. Basically, it only opens it up to everybody that's, huge company. So are you guys okay with me? It's not a Heritage Trust Fund grant requirement. They do recommend it for our protection, but it's not mandatory. I can bid those that are not bonded, and I can give you the exact wording if you want it, but if you guys know what that means.
What's the cost for someone to bond an individual project?
I have no idea.
I think they can do that on kind of a I don't know.
I don't know if
per
I would be
unit.
able to get anybody to do it. I
Okay.
guess she said, Bethany at the Heritage Trust Fund group, she said that a lot of people are having trouble right now with contractors, so I don't know if they're just very busy.
Yeah.
She said so certificates of insurance, labor and materials, payment bonds, as well as performance bonds are not required but encouraged. So, and that's just for projects over 25,000. Basically, we're still a real small project. So it's up to you guys. I just feel like I'm gonna struggle to find somebody.
Is the performance bond like liquidated damages, or is that an actual like a quality of work thing?
I am not the expert to ask this question, unfortunately. I am deferring a lot to Christy, who's still helping me with the process, and she knows what she's talking about. I mean, we did get one. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the performance bond is put into effect so that it guarantees that the work will be completed
Right.
if if the contractor fails, or if it's defective, they'll fix it.
Okay. Keeps it from running off with the money.
Well, if they're local, hopefully they won't run very far.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
Well, and then hopefully we wouldn't hire anybody that we wouldn't feel would do an adequate job, but I understand that protection as well. I mean, yes, I don't want anybody leaving us high and dry.
Well, I would also assume we're not paying them the full amount until they complete it anyway, and if that, something like that could be worked into a contract, like a stage set of goals, and
Yeah,
once
and
they reach
that's,
this milestone and they receive.
yes, and that's
X
how
percent.
the grant works itself. They have to complete certain aspects of the project for us to reimburse.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, it would open the door to local. Basically, I talked to one of the contractors that actually did bid. He said for them to be bonded, it's like 80,000-90,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeesh.
So it does cut out, and you have to have a lot of other prerequisites to qualify that a lot of like smaller businesses don't have. I don't know. So it's up to you guys entirely, but I can call around and see what else I can get.
Well, I would think that if we write a good contract detailing what specifics we want, that, we could lock them in pretty good. I mean, if you're talking $80,000-$90,000, that's a lot for a small contract. That's true.
Well, that would be it per year instead of
That's a per year.
Per-
I
per
realize that,
job,
yeah.
maybe, but yeah.
I didn't know there was
Yeah.
a way to do it per job, so I could look into that a little bit.
Yeah.
That's Todd's suggestion.
What do you say?
Todd?
Todd, do you have any advice on?
Well, I guess I was missing it. Is that a requirement of the project of some nature, like the
No,
places donating the money or anything?
no, it's recommended by the grant that we're working with, but it's not mandatory. I can do it without the bond.
Yeah, well, I'm of two minds about that because every city project that's, done that's bigger, like USDA projects all have performance bonding and required bonding, but those are rarely below $500,000
Right.
projects. So
We're looking, this is under 50,000.
yeah. So I would say that may be pushing it a bit. I mean,
Right.
you're right in the fact that it's probably not the amount of money you're talking about there too. It's hard to get an insurance company of any size interested. So it's that danger zone of being tough to write for a real bonding company. Just too little money.
Mm-hmm. But it's not very appealing to the big companies to come all the way out to Eskridge too, because they have a lot of additional
Yeah,
costs.
unless it's a condition of that, it's an absolute condition of that, then I don't see the point in doing it that way. I don't know if our insurer would do something separately or something since it's somewhat a city project, but I mean, that's all beside the point. So I wouldn't work too hard to try to make it work with the bonding and just chuck it if you guys can handle it.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
On the bid that you have, how much it was materials? Because materials are skyrocketing right now, so that's another thing.
He didn't break it down into what the cost was. Just a bit.
It has gone crazy.
Yeah, the total number. So
It was 48 cents at one time. I heard somebody complaining online, and now it's 48 for the same 2x4.
Well,
So
hopefully that
it's like
doesn't.
tripling wherever he buys it. He's from town, so.
Yeah.
And I'm good on wood, so I haven't bought any locally lately, so I don't know what it costs, but
I'm sure their cost is going up too. I
yeah.
have no doubt.
So that could have some effect on getting it built right away with the cost of materials You know, I hate to push it out, but that might save you some bucks.
That's true. I mean, we really are just trying to bid it. We don't have to do the work until spring if we have to push it. It just has to be totally complete by September next year. The
Sorry.
the real risk is that if our general contractor bails on the project, paying any subcontractor bills unpaid to that point, up to that point, and the project is not complete on top of that, so our reimbursement would get messed up basically. But if we get like sections of a project finished, we can still get that reimbursement done basically. It's a risk, and that's why it exists. I mean, it's like insurance, right? So, but because our project is that small, it's hard to get anybody to care. So it's up to you guys, but I will push around and see what I can get. She did say I could, since I've already bid it, I can start just kind of asking questions about who maybe would put in some bids. Still, even if they didn't have a bond. I don't think it makes them unreputable. It just means that they don't have that insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would still hire an insured contractor, but anyway, I'll get some more information. I can come back next meeting and discuss it a little more. But I just wanted to see if that was something you guys would be up for.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to just say it's encouraged to have bonding and all that, and that's
Okay.
something that will be taken into consideration, but that's
I mean, I think we're all in favor of hiring, closer to home people too, if we can.
yeah.
Like to keep jobs around most of the time. Okay. Anyway, that's all I had really tonight. So, oh, well, no, it's on there later. Never mind. Go ahead. I'm done.
All right. Do we have any purchase requests or work orders? All right. First one we're going to do is dock transfer 268 Ponderosa Point, Turnbull to Hockenbach.
I'll move to approve the transfer of Turnbull to Hockenbarger.
I'll second.
There's been a motion made and seconded to approve the transfer of the docks for 268 Ponderosa Point. All in favor? Unanimous.
I suggest that we skip to,
I'll move to transfer Potter to Spangler.
I'll second.
There's been a motion and second to do a dock transfer 324 East Lynn Hills Drive, Potter to Spangler. All in favor?
I'll move to approve the CBD license or CMD license.
CBD. Well, we don't need that
That's
one.
a Freudian slip.
Yeah.
Well,
You're not selling oils.
Did I get seconded?
I didn't hear.
Okay.
They're busy mocking me.
What?
We have got a motion and a second to
When they are
approve the
on,
CMB license for the Fall Festival, which is October 31st.
Yes.
10
to 4.
Marvelous. It'll be on 31st is Halloween.
I guess specifically speaking, it's going to be for the park. So I don't know if that matters, but
That's good.
because we have to have a restricted area. Yeah.
All right.
Special permission.
Shall I change that a little
I
bit?
don't know that it matters.
Okay, I'm not going to then. All in favor?
You can't vote.
I can't vote.
Is that Tim, Justin, and Brad? Did you vote,
Yes.
Brad?
I'm on the committee too, I'm not gonna
All
vote.
right.
Well, that's it.
You got that? Thank you. Let's see. Let's see, we're going to move on to other, or in continuing.
No, we can go back up to the dock permits.
Did we
now.
miss one?
I feel like
Oh,
there's
we did.
2 dock
Wait,
permits.
two
we need to take some
birds.
discussion.
Okay.
I'd like to start, if you don't mind, with 226 Glen Hills Drive.
Tim would like to start with 226 West Glen Hills Drive, Birdsong.
Only because I have a couple questions. I don't have any dimensions on the map that I looked at on my little packet that was emailed.
Are they here? The birds
said
on
that-
here?
When I asked if they would be here, she said no. And what was told to me was that it is not a permanent structure. And she sent that in. And I asked if she had any other.
Is it attached to the dock, right?
That's my
And the
in-
dock is 20, it's
Don't
already.
ask me any questions about it because I don't know. And I don't want them to get mad if I say it wrong.
This.
No, for this.
We have
Need
that on
dimensions
file,
for
don't we,
this.
what the size of that dock is?
Oh, you want the
This,
dock?
from here
Because
to
if
here,
it exceeds it, then.
here to here cannot be more than 20 by 24. But we don't have any dimensions to say if it is or not.
And that,
And
So
yeah,
it's not a permanent structure?
Irrelevant, it's still a structure that's
Okay.
there. Nothing is permanent.
Well, by definition.
You just can't exceed the 20 by 24 in any capacity.
So we need more details.
Mhm.
Okay,
So,
table?
table it. All right, now we can get on to the good one.
Is that so?
Well, this is the one that I think is gonna take a little time.
I would like to table that one until my neighbors would be notified and would be able to comment on it.
and that's actually what I had later. Someone had called, and because our internet didn't come back up until like 2:00, so I wasn't able to get anything done. So when I sent the agenda out, Jeff,
Minkin.
yeah, he had called and asked if I would request that it be tabled to when he had a chance to be here to give his opinion on, just kind of as a property owner that I think the way it sounds, the dock would be closer to his property. And he was kind of concerned about that and just wanted to be able to voice his concerns, but he was not able to be here tonight. So I told him I would let you guys know.
He went into some detail about it, in that he asked if we do not notify, kind of like the zoning board does, if we notify people that a dock is gonna be by, and I said, no, we don't generally do that I know of. And then he asked if we had he asked me about the different rules and the way we handle docks and how we approve them or disapprove them, whether or not they would have to move their other dock. Why was that space still selected? And I basically told him what was discussed in the council meetings the other night about the depth of the dock. The original one was not very deep. They wanted a deeper space. The spot where they were going to put it in had room, and it had been measured. And what he was getting at is he wished he realizes that he probably maybe couldn't have changed any minds, but he would have liked to have been in the discussion. I don't know if what you think of that. In the future, we could notify people, but generally when we make decisions about the shoreline, we just basically go by this distance and this distance and that, distance.
But I think this is this would be, they would have to walk in front of 4 homes to get to the dock.
But the way they walk in front of 4 homes though is to walk along the shoreline.
City property. But
Yeah.
also, when they bought the home and the dock was built, they should have known when they bought the house how deep the water was. I mean, the lake's going down right now. I know my property, the lake's going down, it's getting shallow. So do I get to move my dock? I have a floating dock. Can I move it somewhere deep? I think you're gonna open a can of worms.
So if
Did
you
you,
guys
look at
wanna,
Yes, I do.
if you wanna research it, talk about it, talk to more residents, you can, or we can just do what we do.
I mean, you're welcome to come out and check.
No, they've been out there.
I went out there. I don't know if
Yeah,
anybody
he-
else did.
I did.
They were there, and I
And
assured
the
them that
water's
they
not
looked
that
at it.
deep at my place. I think off the end of the dock, it might be 2.5 feet. Right now, if we don't get more rain, it's gonna keep going down. But it'd be nice to be able to hear what the neighbors say. Maybe if they would have talked to us, talked to the neighbors to see what our opinions was, see if it was okay. You know, just be a neighbor.
Well, to be fair, when we looked at the home, the realtor walked me down the shoreline, said, this spot is open. I'm like, okay, because I measured water where we're at. Yes, it's shallow, but it's also not navigable. You can turn anything that you link if you orient your dock, standard way. So the city clerk had me out there. And
Which was Donna.
Which was Donna at the time, it was 3.5 years ago. And you were outside, and she had a question for you, and you told me that if I did this, that everyone would hate us.
I didn't say hate, I never used the word.
You used the word hate.
Yeah, I said, no one, the neighbors will not like you.
Well,
Whatever.
so we just backed up a little bit. The last 3.5 years, we have improved our property, displayed very neighborly attitudes towards everyone, and we are just trying to make good on our investment. This is our retirement home. Short of being in a retirement home. And it's just where we want to be, part of the community. And I felt like you had voiced, you said all 4 neighbors would be upset with us.
Right.
At that point, it was too late. I mean, we had, that was between the time the realtor showed it to us and I met you. So we didn't get off to a great start.
Right.
So.
But who built the dock down there? Was it there?
Yes, it was already there.
My question to you, diving in a little deeper, is the realtor told you that you could relinquish a dock and move it to another spot?
She said it was open.
So she encouraged you that that's what it would be?
Yes, it would be a relocating of a dock.
And who was the realtor?
Diane.
Diane Stopper. And she said that we could
apply for this.
You could abandon one dock
Yes,
and
you would
apply
have to
for
pull
a
it.
different
You'd have to
open
pull it
space.
and dispense of it or move it. In this case, it's a floating one, so it could be moved. But it would have to be, at any rate, cleared, cleaned up, taken out, whatever. And that was what I understood. I shouldn't have taken her word for it, but we did. And we've just let time pass, met some people. We're spending more time here now than we are in DeSoto. We planned on moving here completely, but with COVID, my husband has to work 2 days a week now, so he's home 2 days a week. So that's just kind of where we're at.
So I guess that's concerning me that really, because I didn't know that we had that policy of if it starts having less water underneath your dock, that you can abandon it and move it to a different
Actually,
spot
it's
out
not
of the
a
lake.
policy, it's just a request that that space is open, somebody else could come along and answer that space
No.
too.
No, because I was
You're
told
part of
by the
that's
city
on
council
dry ground.
that you have to build
I mean,
your dock
the dock there.
at the
Do what?
closest
Why put the
place
dock there in the
to your
first place, I guess, would be my question.
Yeah.
It's not a requirement, but I
I
think
don't-
people do it just out of logic. I mean, why would you want to be
That's
away
what
from your
I
dog?
was
That's-
told though by the city council that was what they should be doing, or that's how they wanted it done.
To anybody's knowledge, have we done this ever before?
I don't
It's
know.
been 20 or 25 years, I wouldn't be surprised if we have.
As
but
far
I
as letting someone
couldn't name
move
it.
floating dock or what,
Move it up.
I don't think we've let anybody just abandon a dock and say, okay, you have another one, because at that point you have your old dock and you have another dock that's 2
No, we
docks per
would have made
structure, and
them,
that's.
you would have made them
She's
pull it
talking
or
about,
something.
she's talking about
Yeah.
removing.
Well, yeah, I mean, if all the facilities are removed, if,
Right.
the permit is in, the normal process, that's something that I don't think we've denied in the past, and I don't think we've asked the neighbors whether, sufficient space, or, someone coming in there and upsetting the dynamic of whatever's there.
I know we've let people people have built a cabin on one part of the lake and we've allowed them to build their dock completely on another part.
Cause there's no spots
There's no
available
spots,
down around
usually.
to where they were, so they had to fit in a dock somewhere.
Yeah.
But don't you think it'd been consider to talk to the neighbors? And you said.
Well,
you
what
talked
would
to
you-
a lot of people. You've never talked.
We've
really
never
to
had a
me, or
policy.
talked to Mickens, or talked to the Earl Dunn, or talked to, you know.
With every dock that has been built out there, I
You
don't,
talked to them
I've
all?
met them all.
with every dock that's been built out there, I don't think we've ever once consulted the neighboring dock, whoever has that dock and said, can we allow somebody to build another dock right beside your dock?
Well, that's fine and dandy. But it's just not, I don't know.
But my
you let so
question,
many
Tim, was,
people
have
build
we
it.
ever done that before? Cause we don't even know if we've even allowed that before.
I don't know if it's ever been requested.
So then the
Logic
next
of the,
question is, from this point forward, is that going to be our stance? Cause
We don't, the council makes the decisions on these things and the way, why they do it.
yes, Dolly, but we also set precedents on things too. And this is going to be a precedent set. That's what I'm stating. Period, point.
Position.
Todd's
there.
trying to-
Todd's-
Oh, is Todd there?
Yes,
Yeah,
let him
Todd's-
talk.
Yes. Well, and I was going to say, and I think I maybe didn't hear that, was that the logic of the code says about this are essentially that if there's an open space, technically anybody can build in that area. There isn't any tie to any local ownership. I mean, Justin's right. There's logic to it, like the second tier folks needing to be nearby. But at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be right at front of where people are building. Now, that's never been explicit, but I don't think it's also restricted in any way. And the precedent side of this is only in as much as you guys feel ethically constrained by past decision. You can't find future councils unless it's a code section addition. So you could add a new section to the code that says that, something to the effect of you have to build here, or so many feet or something like that with between where you're close to where your house is, you can build, but not otherwise. And if you have that in there, then the next city council can revoke it, but they have to do it officially. Allowing it this time based upon what the conditions are doesn't necessarily require the future council to comply with that.
But what about us in a month from now when somebody else wants to do it? Or 3 months from now? Or whatever.
No, not even 3 months from
So you
now.
can look
It's
one
entirely-
person in the face and say yes, and then the other one come
We
back
do
and
this all
say
the
no.
time, though. I mean, everything is case by case.
I just don't see how it's not a precedent.
We're not the Supreme Court. So to me, we're not setting up anything for future. Like Brad has always said, case by case. We are going to look at everybody as they come. To me, I don't know why you wanted a dock in water you could stand in. So to me, in her particular situation, this is kind of crazy. I don't know why they would have built it here. I don't know how there was water there enough to begin with. So looking at it now, and the way it's positioned in the land, you couldn't get a boat in or a jet ski in at any point in the
But why
past.
did they build it then?
I don't know.
Probably
So
to sell the house.
she's
We know
trying
the
to
other
fix an
fast
error.
ones that they pulled to sell the house
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. Building a house that's
That
10 years
doesn't
old
mean
when
that
it's
they
actually
had to
60.
buy That they had to agree
But
with that.
But a dock is every house has something you got to fix on it, right? Maintenance. I had to fix a sewer pipe in the first year of my house. That was
The
fun.
picture doesn't do
But
it much
that's
justice.
I get that, but I think as a lake house, the dock maintenance, dock changes are part of that as well. And I
No, I'm
understand
not.
neighbor issues
She
for
has it
sure.
pulled up on her.
Well,
Okay.
you know,
Can you spin that around so Justin can see, please?
Absolutely. If
Oh,
you
cool.
take a check, I mean, to me, that is not unreasonable. I
See the
feel like
land
this is
right on the
a,
side? Mhm.
Does it
That
show
cove
the big
just kind of
dock
curves
all
right
over?
around right there, and that dock is sitting
Yeah.
in the deep mud.
Yeah, gosh, you can see that.
I don't know why it exists. I guess.
No, I don't either, but, and then if Stan Friedenberg or whatever.
When was that photo
he wants
taken?
to move
This was
on,
last year, she said, I think, right? This photo here is,
It looks
Well,
very
that
much
was
like that
in
today. I was just out there a few
January
days
before we
ago.
had the
so,
drought.
but Tim's seen it.
That was
Now,
before
granted,
January.
the photo that was submitted with the ice on the water, that was when the lake was really low. Now that the lake is higher, it's not very much higher than that right there. I mean, then
It's
in
3
that
feet.
photo
I
with the-
measured it.
Today,
Yes, today.
off my end of mine,
Yes.
so I just, like a tape measure today, and it was 21. Today. Literally.
I was just out there today. I really was. And I'm not saying I went it either way, but I was out there today,
Okay.
like 2.5 hours ago.
Even if the depth wasn't an issue, you still have this giant thing here that prevents anything, right? That's the way I'm seeing it.
That's not mine or our neighbor's fault, is because they bought it. Or they built it that way. Why couldn't they have built it tilted?
Well,
so
Brian
they
Berger's
could?
and ourselves.
It
and
looks
Gary
like there's a
Barnard
dock next to him too, right?
From,
Whoever.
from previous people, and they're set up for kayaks, you know, that's the way.
So we went through this back when Mike Howard had a place down there. I went through this. About the depth of the water and all of this. And at that time, well, Pan Shoots was selling the places. And so he came out and Rex and Drew Kemp was with them. They measured my dock, they measured down there off of his dock, which would have been right down in that area. And it wasn't over 2 or 3 inches different. So, and you can ask Drew,
Which one's your dock?
my dock's not down there.
Her dock is
My
about
dock is in front of my home.
4 or 6 docks over to the right.
Okay.
Okay, so, basically, she's got a rotten place for her dock and she's looking for a better place for a dock.
I wouldn't say
And-
rotten.
Well, honey, are you wanting to hold that
Certainly would.
space open forever? Is that it?
No,
No.
no. I
Well,
don't have
she
any
wants-
back to it, but I don't think you should call docks rotten. It's not rotten.
No, I'm talking about her. It's a rotten space, I said.
That's not our problem.
Well, I have a question, maybe this might help move things along a little bit. This is just the latest Google map, and the people that own the properties down in front also own this one, okay? So if he decides to sell that or build a house on it, it looks large enough to be built on, I don't. And then they need a dock or want a dock, and they apply for that. And, I mean, we've asked both of our neighbors, you know, as you guys were here before us, you know, do you want to make this request? And for various reasons, they're like, no, we're good. You know, I know them both, and I know the reasons, and they just aren't interested in doing it.
Now, who's that?
The open space up here, it's technically, there's lots along here that Nelson's own.
Yeah, they own that.
And if they sold it,
No,
then
why
somebody built a
would
house
we
on
use
it,
it?
where are they
Oh,
gonna
so
go?
I
I
should
love
be
honey
asked
to
for
death,
this.
but why,
Would that be open to them?
why is this an issue? If she's entitled to
I
it.
don't know, you know,
She's not,
You saw what they did to the
she's just
dock.
moving it.
Moving the dock is not.
No.
Oh, my
I
goodness.
just, I mean,
You make a motion.
well,
All right,
our
we
intent
just-
to upset the apple cart here. We just went forward from day one, thinking that this was procedure, you know, if
Because you were told that.
right, that there was an open spot and that we could apply for it. And that would mean taking out our other one, but being able to be out in the open. It might not improve tremendously our depth, but we could navigate it at least.
Well, one thing we both want is don't trust people.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay, can I make a suggestion here? And this isn't just to move this meeting along. This is, I want everybody to know exactly what we're talking about. 3 of you haven't gone out there to go out and look at this property, and I think that we could table this until the next meeting, even though it's not the lake meeting. But I think that we should make a decision at the next meeting what they should do about this. And I would like you other three to go up there and look at the property for yourselves. If nothing else, it's pretty nice back there. Now, what we have here, I just want you to be clear, where their address is, go behind their house, and then where you see what their dock looks like. And if you follow the property or the shoreline over to the right, Connie, is your dock the skinny, just like a walk?
There's one that's just a walkway,
It's kind
and
of
my
an
other
angle.
one is red. There's a red one that's been there since 1972,
Okay.
and then the one next to it, I've never finished the dock. That's supposed to be what, 20 by 24?
Right, right.
And I just got the wall.
And the one, is it the one that has like the iron reinforcement and it
Yeah.
looks like it's been there for a really long? Okay.
Right, and
Okay.
see, it's got the floating dock out in front of it, the 12 by 12.
So the dock that she's talking about is on the right, with red, you'll see the metal framework and everything. It looks really rigid. And then there's a long walkway. Now, what I suggested to boozers, what I suggested to them is where the second dock is, from the far side of it, measure over to the distance. Imagine that Connie someday wants to expand that dock to the width of 20 feet. And then from there, go over 10 feet. Now on the other side, what we have is another narrow dock with a boat lift beside it, pontoon. My drawing is not to scale at all. If they can measure from here and come over this direction, the 20 feet also, and then come 10 feet, then they have this, whatever this space may be in the middle. Whether it's, the 20 feet or whatever. I'm sure that it's going to end up being more than 20 feet. But what I wanted was for them to not put their dock too close. I didn't want them to start from this side and then measure 10 feet over. Then their dock would be encroaching upon what she can possibly expand her dock to be on. So I was trying to be fair on both neighborly sides and put them, at first when we discussed this a month ago, I said I wanted the dock to be pushed over to where it's 10 feet away from one, in case we were going to put another in there. And then I went out and looked at it, thought, that's not happening. There's no way.
Okay.
So to give everybody the most space, I was trying to have them go, imagine that Connie's dock is 20 feet wide and then center it upon that. And the same thing with the other dock. Imagine it's 20 feet wide, center it upon that mark.
Which dock are you? This one here, the sidewalk?
Okay, there you go.
I've got.
This is the boat lift with a pontoon on it. So go from this point and then go over 20 feet plus the 10 feet gap. From this side,
Which is right what she was asking for anyway. That's the
Yes.
oak tree.
yes.
Right. Is there a reason we can't
Well,
approve
then I'm
it now?
gonna put in
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean,
75,000.
that is absolutely, that's reasonable.
What you're
It's the most
looking
place for
Put the other one around there, but if we notice.
And that's all crap.
Yeah.
We do have lots of people who walk much farther. I do want to admit that I'm afraid of opening a can of worms as well, like Brett's bringing up.
I drew a scale drawing and turned it in with my.
But a case by case basis, and this dock is, it's a stone's throw from where she wants to
That
move
was,
it to.
had measurements
Yeah.
on it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with
Good,
that.
far throw,
Those are
right, that's not that far.
allowed each,
308.
that's not.
I don't
our proposal.
understand.
I
This picture
like
does
that
not
idea
seem right,
because
so I feel
it
like
allows
it's not-
Connie to
Yeah.
It allows
It's
everybody.
I think it's
expand.
missing.
to the maximum.
That's why
if
I
she
was
ever
like,
chose to.
I don't understand this picture.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
missing.
missing that shot.
So
In fact, I like that.
Yeah, I thought that was wrong.
Chris.
Okay.
Yeah, I submitted, it's on graph
Yeah,
To
paper.
make sure you're not encouraging
Oh.
somebody else to talk all the time.
It was with the application.
She's got it better than a photo right there.
So why don't we, somebody.
Better than
Okay.
a drawing.
Well, there's the cushion is 4 feet, let me leave it that way. In
There.
other words, the tree would almost be dead center
Oh, this is, sorry.
if you centered it, but there is a 4-foot eaves where you could go one way or the other. Like if you wanted to come all the way to the dimensions allowable for this one, we would be 24 feet from the far
So I
side.
mean, you're like, right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, can we just go ahead and table it till next time? And then the other neighbors can talk if they want to. So I don't have to.
Would he have anything else different to say, Connie? He just wants to be here to discuss it, or he wants to be here to, he told me he wants to stop it from happening. But,
Then that's why it needs to be tabled.
but we've not done this around the whole lake though. When I got, he sat and talked to me for a long, long time and we discussed the fact that we hadn't gone around to other people in the neighborhoods and
But I
and
think
got
he
there
needs
okay.
to come and speak to the city council, just like I did, just, so they can understand and talk to him about what he wants to speak about. And all I ask is just table it till next meeting. Because y'all should be here.
Is it gonna make a difference with the council? Because that's, if she's requesting to move her, I don't really know what to say here. I feel like a zoning board or something.
It's not gonna make a difference to me. I like Tim's idea.
I do too. I like, in fact, like codifying Tim's idea to.
Which idea? The idea that everybody go push their eyes on it before they vote, or the idea of where the placement is of the
Yes.
dollars?
That would be nice, but
It hasn't been precedent in the past that we all go look at it and get our eyes on it.
Maybe you should sometime.
free up about 9 o'clock at night. It's kind of hard to go and look at all
Pitch
this stuff.
black.
So.
You could make
Let's go to bed.
other comments as well, so. I think I have a pretty good idea. I mean, have you not gone and seen it and agree that it's not really a big deal? Like, I feel like, why are we hanging this up?
No, we're letting
Well-
someone speak that's not here at the meeting. I guess that's the only reason, but I don't see a problem with this as written. But this is not something we've stopped before. And I like Tim's idea about, treating the dock that's there adjacent to it as the maximum size and ensuring that they're, an appropriate distance away from that just to allow for future expansion, which still looks like there's plenty of room here for that to happen.
Okay, and another thing, are these easements, the easements that go down alongside Nelson's property, are they walking easement? Or can you take the four-wheelers or golf carts down, zoom through there?
We've never
That's-
told anybody not to ride their four-wheelers, golf carts, or whatever have you, on our easements that I know of.
But yeah, we haven't had it expressed as a problem either, so that's, I don't know.
Yeah, that was probably what I was gonna say. If it was dangerous or anything, of course we'd stop that. I think the only time we ever stopped four-wheelers is on the dam.
I think.
And they made a
This
path
one.
going off the road down the back of the dam, and that was
Yeah,
dangerous.
because she asked these
We had to
people,
block that.
she told you that she
Yeah.
asked the neighbors on the side if they were interested in all. This one is, quick cattails going hold. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty much abandoned, but they keep.
So therefore you can, on your property that goes across, you can take four-wheelers or whatever and go,
On the lake's easement, is that what you're asking me?
yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Okay. All right, are we done with the discussion now? It seems like we're just repeating and repeating.
Has it been brought to the?
Yeah, if there's a nuisance complaint, then we would definitely have to.
Tim,
address
what's
that.
your opinion on it? I'm just,
Yeah.
you're the one that brought up this idea, so is this what you're in favor of?
I believe so.
What you make a motion?
You know what I didn't notice, or what I didn't think of? Even though I still am with the idea of allowing the maximum width for this dock, I didn't realize that this is Connie's second dock, which can't be made that wide ever, anyway.
Why? That's what I put in for when I paid my fee to have it done. And it was,
But that was back when when you were allowed to have two docks,
so why wouldn't it?
because that rule no longer stands. We don't let people have two docks. We've done away with that for a long time. In fact, we're moving towards not letting people build one dock.
I agree. You should have done that 10 years ago.
Well, yeah, coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah, or should have put up a marina. and had second and third lots park at a marina and pay.
All right, we're done with this.
Hindsight's 20/20.
Come on, you guys.
Yeah, but it's been 2020 since I've been here,
I haven't been here that long.
for 40-some years.
All right, we're rehashing this. If you guys want to make a motion, what do you want to do?
Well, then Dolly, are you gonna call and talk to Jeff?
All right, I'll move to approve the Buster's request to move their dock from A to B.
I think with
Boosters,
I'll
I
second.
apologize.
That's all right.
you said it. Is that within these parameters that you just said, that you were drawing on?
Yes,
Okay.
they know exactly. I spoke with both of them and they understand. And they also understand I'm not afraid to tell somebody to move something.
Okay. We had a motion, I didn't. All right, all in favor? Okay.
Is that? It's over.
It's done.
Thank
It is.
And see, now we're at 307. I lost count of where we were at.
that was what we
Do this all.
So we've done.
Yeah.
And we did third song.
But, I mean, I just don't see why.
These are all-
Why are we rolling that up?
Thank you.
That's the first time I've been here that someone's actually came in and opposed someone to occupying the spot that I can remember. So.
All right, we're going to move to our next subject, which is Salyer. And Todd, are you still with us? Is Todd still with
Yes,
us?
I am.
He's got to
Okay.
He's asleep.
Yeah, I gotta give him a minute.
Okay.
Just get off mute.
Yeah.
Before we begin, I have one question. Do we know whose property this gazebo is setting on? I'm with the understanding it's city property. Am I
So am
wrong?
I.
He's been researching it, so asked Todd.
I'm wrong?
Well, no, I mean, I think we have a question. And I'm getting an echo, so I'm sorry if I'm lagging a bit. We don't truly know because they have produced those surveys that they have. One of them shows a gazebo on the property. And the maps that we are looking at, the GIS maps, I think are not quite correct. I think you can see that they're off base. I think there's a legitimate question about where the lines are now on that property. I'm not confident from what I've seen that that gazebo is on the city's property. It's got a likelihood that it could be to the immediate north of the gazebo, where the fence and some other property is apparently from the northern property. The official way to look at this is just to go to the plat map that's with the Register of Deeds office, and also check any surveys that have been filed. One of the surveys that we were produced, it was produced in my office, but I wasn't allowed to retain, was one that wasn't filed of record but showed the gazebo on their property. Another was filed of record. It did not show the gazebo anywhere on anybody's property because it didn't show landmarks like that. But the measurements accorded directly with the area of that other survey. So at the end of the day, I have a significant question about where that gazebo is actually at. The only way to really check it is to go to one of two ways. One, go to the Register of Deeds office, and second of all, have another survey done, an actual survey by someone. If we're not going to accept the survey that was done that's unfiled, then we have to do our own, I think, because it's just unclear.
Yeah, are you talking about the survey that was just done a couple of years ago, Todd?
Yeah, I think it was the one that was done, and I wasn't allowed to keep a copy. I thought, are the people there at the meeting?
Yeah, they're here.
They're here.
well, maybe they have them with them. I didn't have to keep them, but one of them was, I think both of them that were probably produced when we had that previous meeting on
Todd, I'm
the
here.
property.
Todd, it's John. I'm here and I have everything I can pass to the council to review that speaks to your questions. First, the reason we're here, I represent Harry and Barbara Salyer. They received a notice from Richard Orton that basically it's hearsay. It was like a newsletter for September 14th. And it says gazebo at 262 Ponderosa Point. Harry and Barb Salyer would like to resolve the issue of the gazebo adjacent to their property. The gazebo sits on City of Eskridge land. Salyers would like to purchase the land the gazebo sits on. Council is in favor of making the gazebo public use property instead of selling the land it sits on. First of all, the Salyers wanted to come. They had never been noticed for a meeting. I think they've had one conversation with a council person regarding where the gazebo, there's some obscure right of way through there, whatever. But there's been no survey from the city that would indicate that. And the reason things need to move fairly expeditiously, I have their realtor here, and they had it under contract, but because this dispute came up, and we don't even know if it is a dispute, but they've lost that sale because frankly, we can't sell it without, if there's an issue with the
But I
city.
think this dispute was
If I
there
may,
before.
if I may, here is it's a November 20th, 2015 survey. And it's a plat, and if you look at the measurements, this is the front page. It's Stebbins Surveyor, very quality outfit. On the second page, it clearly shows the gazebo is within the tract that the Salyers own. Secondly, you can match the property with the deed. It's lot 8, block 39, and lot 1, block 39C. This is lot 8, block 39, and that's lot 1, block 39C. You turn it over, the gazebo is on lot 139C. So if I could pass it that way. This also, there was one 2 years ago that the city requested, where basically the Salyers got a strip on the west side, nowhere affecting the gazebo, but it's the same property description if you look at that. And the city was privy to that.
They did not receive that property.
Right.
No, but that's not included in
Oh,
the ones,
okay.
this is an additional strip, not that.
We were just trying to get timing. I think Todd asked when they were done. There was one in 15 when the Salyers bought the property. Then in 18, they needed a strip in the back, which is that yellow. So, I think the Salyers mainly wanted to just come, if you guys think you need to get a survey and show Stevens surveyors they're wrong, then we'll live with it. But we can't go forward selling the property with,
But there was issues, in all due respect, to correct you, there was issues with the property in that spot before they put it on the market. So, I mean, this isn't, they couldn't sell the house because they're selling the house because of this, not, you know what I mean? Like, they knew about this before they put their house on the market and you said otherwise. So I'm just correcting that right there.
We didn't know that this was an issue. We knew that it had come up, had been casually mentioned in a meeting earlier. We were never notified. We were never told this was an issue. We never got a letter, nothing. We didn't hear anymore. We thought this was just something that had been talked about, we all realized, or some of them haven't, we don't know, but nobody ever talked to us and nobody ever notified us.
I did talk to your husband. I've actually been to your house probably 3 times So,
But I guess what,
and I encouraged him to look at the videos of the recorded meetings, and if he had any questions, to call in and clarify. This was several weeks ago. He was claiming that it was property, and I advised him to come to the council meeting, and I advised him to call in and express his concerns and everything.
No,
And-
because she was worried about the gravel next door.
well, again, it doesn't matter really right now. I just want to let the council know why we're here tonight. We have a certified survey from Stevens Survey and Company. It clearly shows where, if you look at the delineation of the footage, and it clearly shows where the property line is. Now, I have my opinion where that, if there is a walkway or a runway through is,
According to the GIS map, there is one on both sides.
but if there is, I would suggest that you look to the north.
That's why we should
Mr.
probably have
Anson's
our.
built a storage shed to the north. Now, I'm not saying any more than that, but there is a storage shed to the north. But clearly, this is on the seller's property. They have a certified survey. They need to proceed with selling their property. They have their realtor here. Yeah, Dave was out there today with me looking at it. He needs to move on this. And if you guys want to get a survey, we understand. But I think,
You mean to get a survey to disperse
well, if
what Stevens already did?
well, right.
Yeah.
Well, we need to get a survey done so that we know where our right of way is in there, because there is a right of way somewhere. Whether we're off
Yeah,
where it
but
is
why
or
should
not,
that
we need
hold
to
up?
know where it is.
If that's our land that's holding up their sale though.
Gazebo.
Right.
The
To
gazebo
me, this
shown
is
clearly within
subsequent
Dolly, this was
evidence
an
to
issue
prove
for
that the
the
property
corner
is.
market. That's
I
what
don't
we
care
wanted
about
to
The
know.
council
facilitating the sale of their property.
I do
That's
not
on
either.
us.
That is not on us.
Yeah,
It's thrown in our face far too many times.
What is-
I'm over it.
if I may, what is the council relying on to delay my clients in proceeding to sell the property? We're trying to show you the survey. It's clear. The realtor took it over, did show Todd. And we need to just know what to do. We need to know whether to move forward.
Okay, then what I think that we need to do
No,
is get,
just, hold on.
all right,
Can I address the council?
please do.
Okay, thank you. Understanding what John said, let's be clear about a couple of things. One being, there has been nothing done in my position, in my opinion, and I believe that the city has done, that in any way clouds title to anybody's property. We are only asserting rights in the property that the city owns in and around this other property that's shown on plats and other maps. Now, for some reason, there is a question about where the property line is. I don't believe that what the city's claimed, the city has claimed no legal right to anything in any court, nor ownership rights beyond what it has of record with the deeds, the register of deeds. So I'm at a loss when there's talk about how the city is impairing a sale. It is not. If there is not sufficient activity on the part of the sellers to guarantee title to the property, then in some respects that's their problem, meaning that this is always about money. An amount of money can guarantee the fact that that property and that is correct. Now, if you come in, I mean, I'm going to have a difference of opinion with a lot of stuff here, but if the only input that the city gets is that this property is out there, that we have an interest in an easement, and there is a complete and utter fight about where the lines are, that we should be required to kind of put up our hands and say, you know, no contest to whatever anybody wants to do is not the way this works. You know, we can get a survey done and we can figure out for our own satisfaction where those lines are. It's up to the council if they want to go to that expense and do it. But we are not impairing anyone's property by questioning the fact of where the city's easement is. And before we get into anything else, I think just to make it clear as well, is that the property, if it is the city's, cannot be acquired by adverse possession. It is possible to obtain city property through adverse possession. So that's not going to happen. So I think if they need some methodology whereby the city will agree that the gazebo's on there, the council itself will have to figure out what it wants to make that happen. But that's not a question of title. That's a question of where is the line.
Todd, if I may, just two questions with regard to that. I think maybe I misspoke a bit. What does the city, where is the dispute of where my client's north property line is? I have this survey that delineates exactly where that is with pins pursuant to plat of record. So I don't know what the city is disputing. You had mentioned this is about a property boundary dispute. What does the city claim? Is all my clients are trying to determine tonight. Secondly, what right of way? I have not seen any proof of an existence of a right of way that goes through. There is I think the realtor showed me an aerial from outer space with some white lines on it. Doesn't show anything. I haven't even seen whether there's a right of way anywhere. So I guess my whole question is tonight, I would ask the council to accept the survey that we have that clearly shows the gazebo within the property boundaries of my clients. They've owned it since 2015, and I guess I've never, yes, sir.
Can I get you set up here, please?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know, is this the point that we're speaking of right
Yeah.
here?
You are correct.
Uh-huh. See, this is the map that we've been going by with this
I
right
just got
of way
my
going
application.
across. That's
Just
what
turn
we
it
have had
around.
to
You
go
can
by
step forward.
all along. And I understand this is a photo taken from outer space and whatever. What I want, and I'm not saying that I believe this 100%. What I want is guarantee that this property, this T-shaped piece of property, is in fact city property, and if so, where exactly is this line right here?
Correct.
Now you have your paperwork that you say where it is. I'm not just doubting or disputing that. I want the city to come together and decide to pay somebody to figure out where this little gap of city easement is. That would put a nail in this coffin and I'd be done with it. And that's what I've been asking from the beginning. Where in the heck is our property? And then we'll be over with. The
Sure.
whole thing about the blocked driveway and all that would have been settled a long time ago
And
if we just
the
figure out
block
where that is.
driveways and all that, my clients that don't have anything to do with that. The block that's on the other side.
I'm not, we don't need to open that can of worms.
Well,
We
you
don't need
just
to go
mentioned
there.
something about a drive parking place.
One that they blocked.
But this is on the west side.
I'm
And,
aware.
yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
and if the realtor's here tonight, he may have more information about the measurements. We did tape measures and it came within an inch, if that.
I don't want to waste your time anymore.
Okay.
What I want the council to do, and of course, 4 other people have to agree with me. I want to send somebody out there to show the city where the city's land is and where it is not. Most importantly, where it is not. That way they can move on with what they want to do, we know where we can say, hey, this is ours, back off. All we want to know is where the lines are drawn,
I don't
literally
see how we're
using it.
impairing them from making any transaction that way.
Exactly, that's what
I mean,
a title
okay, so
insurance
we
for.
decide we want to see that easement in there. That's something we can pursue on our own time. I mean, it's not even something that's time is of the essence in our.
Just for a second, 'cause
Part of
Correct.
Sorry.
our contract is that the gazebo and the boathouse are included in the sale. And I would put the burden back on you. If you want to know where your property is, you should do your survey.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
They've
suggesting.
Yeah,
They've done,
We're agreeing with each other
your
here.
pins are there and marked and clear. If you would just go out
They're clear for
But
ours, but
This is
the
Todd
city,
again.
we wouldn't know how to.
Go ahead, Todd.
I mean, I agree with all that. I just wanted you to note that you guys can't sell property that you don't own, which is pretty straightforward, obviously. And we're not going to change the line by anything we're doing here tonight. So whether or not the gazebo is on one side of the line or not, the real estate sale that you are contemplating cannot sell property that does not belong to the Salyers. And you can't sell property that belongs to the city.
and I would agree with that wholeheartedly. The problem with it, now that we have knowledge of a difficulty with the council and what may or may not be our property, we have to disclose that to a buyer. We know we own it. We've got proof we own it. And we've tried to show the council we own it. We'd like to move forward. Is the council going to survey every property out there to make sure that everyone's on? I mean, or are they just going to do it with regard to Salyers? Because they have a nice gazebo that the city would like. That's what it looks like.
That's maybe what it looks like, but that's hardly what it is about. It all started with our property being blocked where people couldn't drive on it. But that's all behind us now. So if we can move forward, what we need to do is survey the one piece of property that we are addressing right now. Would I love to survey every road, every fire lane? You know I would. You know I would, John.
That'd be a
At the same time, you know that we can't do that.
I understand.
So let's be realistic here, John.
I
You know that
understand.
we can't do that. So don't even ask.
My client's property to the south isn't the property to the north. That is a different issue that I don't know the council hasn't addressed.
I'm not talking about the property to the north that was blocked. I'm talking about their property that they put the
Cinder blocks.
roadblock on, cinder blocks. Whose property was that on? They believe it to be theirs. We believe it to be ours. We're not certain. We need to find out for sure. That's where we are this month.
And we spoke to Anschutz and they called and talked to Stephanie and they told us that they have a survey proving that where their line is.
Okay.
So there is city access there somewhere. And two are saying they have surveys. We've now seen yours, so maybe they need to come in to see theirs as well. But there's an access point there somewhere. So somebody's surveys are wrong.
Is there an access of record with the city that we could look at? I mean, not a question of where it is, but that there is in fact the access.
Don't surveys
John?
get put up there in Ella? My survey went up there.
Everybody,
Yeah.
not again.
You got the floor.
The plat map is at the county's, at the registry of deeds office, the official plat map where it was all laid out. And that would be, barring anything else, that would be the Rosetta Stone for where everything is. So that's the clincher. Everybody's survey can have their own survey. They can be filed of record, and that may be appropriate, but that plat map's going to control.
And Todd, to that point, on the survey from Danny Stevens, he said bearings are based on final plat for block 39C, Wabunsee County State Park. So,
Yeah, and that's the plat.
mhm. Okay.
So we need to get a copy of that map from the county. Is that what you're saying, Todd? And then that'll finally solve this issue?
Yeah, that will help in one respect, meaning that will give you an idea of what everybody's dimensions are on the lot that we're talking about, the dimensions to the north, and presumably the distance between the two. Ultimately, you'll have to have, it's going to be up to the council about what they will accept, meaning there are going to be property pins out there that are going to hopefully show, unless they've been moved somehow, where everything is. And ultimately, it's just a question of what facts will the council take, if any, that we know the spacing of everything out there. The plat map is absolutely necessary and is a start. I would like to have the Anschutz one they're talking about, the one that somebody mentions they have, which that might be interesting to see.
It's not Anschutz anymore. We're just calling it that.
Yeah, the Smith property.
Yeah.
I think that's who's got it now. But if it is the case that the Smith Anschutz property overlaps where our property is, and we think we're to the south of where we should be, meaning the actual access is where they blocked it off to the north, then the fire should be directed at the people to the north, and that should be removed and that access restored. I think it's pretty straightforward. But I'm also saying that I think it's absolutely clear that this is not, the city is not creating or trying to create a title problem.
No, and I understand that, Todd. All we want, if we can get it, if we feel like we have a survey, it's a good survey that clearly shows that the gazebo's on the property, we can go forward. But I understand that the council decides they need to get their own survey. But this is a really quality outfit that did the survey.
I think it's a separate issue. I think that issue is separate from the issue of us wanting to know where that right of way is.
Sure.
And gazebo is a permanent structure in there. Obviously, that's important, and it's shown to be within the boundaries and transferable on sale. So I don't see where there's a problem from our end. I do think with the access, that is a separate issue that probably should be pursued with our own survey.
Well, I would suggest you guys that I think Tim's got the right ideas. Just adding a step that first somebody would go to the Register of Deeds office and get the appropriate plat map itself and get a copy of that. They should allow that, and then check. They can also should be able to check the record for any official file surveys to the north on the Smith Anschutz property. And then once that's done, it can be decided if it's necessary to get Kramer out there to actually do the city's own survey.
So that's something we can just access for a public records fee or whatever, a prior survey. Okay.
Usually the ladies there will make a copy, will show you where it is, or will help you find it. Mostly because they don't like you playing with their records, but they'll let you find it. They'll give you a copy of it for $1.50 a page or whatever. And it usually would take probably about a half hour to an hour to get everything tracked down. That was.
Cool.
Sure.
I think we know our next move then. Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, I guess the question being, who's going to do that? Is that going to be somebody on the council, or do you want me to do it?
I can do it. I own money. Tags are due.
Time for tags.
Yep.
So we can make a trip to the park.
Every day.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to you about it if I forget or whatever. But
Okay, that would be Justin.
Are we good?
Do you have anything else? No. Thank you.
I'll move to adjourn.
No, we can't.
No,
Why?
there's another, no.
The only thing I got to say is when Joe James had that house I checked with the county, and that where his, that shed is, that is where your easement is.
Oh,
And if that's where it's at.
We'll find out.
And if that's where it's at, the shed's gonna go.
That's
pretty simple.
That's kind of what I'm.
Harry, as you well know, we will find out and we will pursue it.
Yeah.
And he also
I
said
asked the county
that he
about
had bought that property, so then he asked the county, is that true? I said, oh, we can't sell that property.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Lighted property, let's see,
That was Mona.
that was Mona, that's right.
We're done. We're now down to mayor's concerns.
You want to talk about grants at all, or were you gonna talk about grants at all, or?
Oh,
I talked to her today too, but go ahead.
did you?
But, yeah.
Yeah, I went to a Zoom meeting for 2.5 hours with the regional committee, and they had so much information. I'm gonna take tomorrow and get a hold of Christy Ramirez and have her walk me through what she thinks we could get, because they've got grants out there to help with buildings, to renovate City Street with the older buildings that are salvageable. They talked quite a bit about the IGA building and where we had some concerns about that, and I asked Mike to talk to them about that, because there's always EPA to look into. Justin was gonna call and ask.
Yeah, I know the concern with the EPA, and Mike said this before dealing with other stuff. There's an EPA brownfield, something like that grant that
Yeah,
they basically just go in and assess. And, you know, Mike's worry has always been with the EPA, if a problem is presented, are you now obligated to do something about it? And I talked to Jana Williams with the Flint Hills Regional Council today. She said what they've seen, that's not the case. They haven't seen them, you know, hard go after somebody for any kind of violations or anything. It's just kind of a, you know, see where you're at kind of deal. As far as anything that the EPA would deal with, asbestos and lead paint, and I assume mold. She didn't specifically say mold. That might be, you know, an issue in some of these older structures
They
too.
do with asbestos, they do with mold.
yes.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like-
yeah, they're kind of hand in hand. But
Well, and Jana Williams said that, that also with the grants came grant writers that will work with us.
Yeah.
And they have, and you figure that where the state is providing them with the grants, and they wanna make sure those grants get out there, and they're using in the regional council to get them out there, kind of gives you a foot up when you're dealing with people that they've dealt with. And then, Jana Williams said that there's one of their grant writers that will look at grants that were turned down.
Yep,
To
try to
see,
rework them.
try and rework them, and I found that very interesting, because I was telling her about what happened to you guys.
Yeah.
And how disappointing it was with that CBD grant.
Yeah.
Be-
well, and the two subsequent CDBGs for the sewer that were turned down for two different, very,
Yes,
very
she had me repeat that
blatant
twice
reasons.
when
Yeah.
I told her.
Oh, I told her once again today too. So she's probably already heard she's probably already heard the story, but yeah, it's, so I told her the story about the $600,000 stamp,
Yeah.
or the second one. I mean, it's, yeah.
They're having a regional meeting on October, oh dear, let's see, the 15th or 16th, in the middle there, and it's 2 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon, but it's a Zoom meeting, so I'm just gonna take off from work and get my coffee ready, and I might try and record it, because they give so much information that it's get you all jazzed up, but then I can't always convey it.
She did mention grant writing services. She said they have a grant for grant writing that goes to subsidize the cost of grant writing, to the point where even if you put in for a grant and don't necessarily use the FHRC, I got that right, people, they subsidize half of your grant. So your fee, if you pay $6,000 to somebody to write your grant, they write you a check for $3,000 as part of that other grant. So found that to be appealing. She also said that COVID grants are zero charge because of a separate grant they've got. So they can write you a COVID related grant for free. So, with our swing and the miss on the lake bathrooms, the park bathrooms, can we take another swing at that with them for try to get some COVID money for, with that being sanitation and all that, hand washing, promoting good hygiene habits. So that's,
Yeah, I kind of stressed that with her. I said people went to the lake as a refuge.
Yeah.
And it would have been nice for us to have been able to go ahead and finish that bathroom that we've been talking about for a while on the east end. And she found it compelling.
yeah.
So,
Well, I told her my opinion was, it was kind of a stretch maybe to put that under that COVID umbrella, but at
I
the
don't
same
think
time,
it was. I mean, people with mental health, they talk about mental health all the time. And that's something that I can dwell on because people do feel set upon and they want to get out. And that's the relief that they found out there. They would come into the store and talk about the comfort. They distanced out there. We didn't have any problems out there as far as I knew.
Yep.
So I'm glad that you.
well,
talked to
that's,
them.
hopefully that could go somewhere because I know we tried to put in for that for the Spark funding and it sounded like we kind of got money and then maybe it was taken away because of how somebody else perceived that. Now that's sitting there in some kind of a limbo. So, but
She said there's also another CARES Act that's developing in the Congress, and she's hoping that they'll spit it out.
yeah, they're still at war.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
One more month.
Yeah.
Okay.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
To the point of clarification, because I've heard it more than once now. We just bought 2 lots just off Ponderosa Point, not too far, I think, from where these folks are at.
Correct.
Where
You're at the south.
There was an old K-State professor that used to live there, had a cabin, and anyway, it's like 254 Ponderosa Court. And there's 2 lots there, so you might understand there may not be any boat docks for those 2 pieces of property. There's no structure on either one of them right now.
Yeah. What you have to have a dock, you have to have a structure that is livable in, and I would imagine that we don't give a dock just for.
No, I'm just saying that wasn't a blanket statement. In other words, I mean, we bought 2 pieces of property, but there's no point in building on them or improving the property if we aren't going to be allowed to have a dock.
Are you putting a house on it?
That's a very good possibility, that you will not be permitted to have a dog.
So are you going to keep that house for yourself? You're gonna have 2 houses, or you're gonna sell it?
Well, I don't know. It's just,
Oh,
it was
okay.
an opportunity. It's very deep water. And there's like over 10 feet of water just right off.
Mhm. Now I know what you're talking about.
The opportunity was in front of us. My husband's getting ready to retire, and it just was, something that, this would be something we can invest in or whatever, but if it's just gonna sit there, then nobody's gonna wanna buy it.
There's places sell pretty well,
Well, that's,
dock or no.
If somebody buys
that's
it,
first tier. I mean,
First tier.
it's, yeah, right there on the point.
Like I
So,
said, lakefront. I
And
feel
there's
an
no
over.
docks around it, so
yeah,
there'd be no real reason why you wouldn't let them have it.
yeah.
Well, everything is case by case, and we will treat it as such. I know that we are trying to lean more towards no more docks. So again, it's case by case. I can't make any guarantees.
Yeah, I know we've talked about limiting the, we always talk about first and second tier and all that, but I mean, third, fourth, fifth. How far do you go if, that area to the, what is it, south of the lake develops? And, are they all allowed docks? And I mean, it's, at some point you have to declare an area and say, this is the boundary of the lake which we allow a dock in. And we're not going to let somebody from the city of Eskridge go in and put a dock because they're 29th tier or whatever that works out to be. But yeah,
then we do talk about a marina, which marina.
that's a good idea, but it costs
A ton.
No, that wouldn't be for us to do that. People could invest in it.
Yeah, that's true. very well
I mean,
could.
let's be progressive.
It's
Yeah.
such a small lake. I don't know that you'd fit a marina very well, right? Am
It'd
I
be a
crazy?
tiny one.
Yeah, it would be a time.
I mean,
Both boats know each other.
But
Would it be wise then for us, I downloaded the codes and tried to digest it all. There's a provision in there to ask for a. I don't wanna
is that
call
still
it
in the code, like
reservation.
the, yeah.
Reserved.
There, yeah.
Reserved
We know
site.
there are some reserve spots. We haven't approved one since I've been here.
Yeah.
That's in
We
8
have-
years, but
Before the-
Disapproved, I guess,
I
one.
guess before that.
yeah, that sounds right.
And
Several years ago, but
the opportunities passed. I mean, is this something we should act on fairly quick before it's decided about?
What you're asking is if you develop that property, can somebody else come in and put a dock in front of it?
No.
No?
Can they build a house and a dock?
Well, yeah. Are you gonna live there or are you gonna sell it?
Well, we don't know. It was, like I said, it was a real estate opportunity.
Okay.
There's two lots there.
One owner can't have two
that's
dogs.
really not, yeah, but
And
But,
one
Or
structure
address,
can.
but if one owner owns two
Yeah, we
houses
got
on it,
owners
can
or
that one owner
structures?
have a dock in each
Yeah,
property?
They have.
One,
Yeah, do they?
it's
Okay.
one structure per dock.
Yeah.
Or dock per structure.
You wanna
And
build
she's talking about building a house on that
Right.
property.
I guess
So-
the whole
Yeah.
overarching thing here is that we can't guarantee you a dock space because
Yeah, that's-
obviously we are limited by the space of the lake. But we are trying to be
There are,
good stewards by not allowing too many docks.
sure.
I would,
But as a lakefront, I mean,
Yeah.
you'd be more likely to get a dock off
Yeah.
that house.
Odds are in your favor
Yeah.
versus being third or
Tier
fourth
one,
tier.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we
But
built
we
a cabin
cannot
on,
sit
we
here and
wanted to
guarantee you.
build 2 spec homes. They each want their own.
Right, which
Sure.
after you build,
44 feet there. that
Yeah.
we bought. And right next to it's one of these, I said, what's that strip of land right there? And they said, it's a fire lane. And I'm like, what kind of a fire lane? I said, well, back in the day, they said we used to run hoses down if you had a fire. And so we inherited a survey. And so we found all the pins. But, so there is a strip in there and it's like 15 or maybe 20 feet wide. It goes all the way down to the bottom. So there's that buck on
And that's like
one
what's on
side,
the-
and then we've got our 144 or whatever it was. And then, we don't know what we're gonna do with it, but I thought if we have to act.
and
sooner
I don't know that we
rather than
would,
later to reserve.
I don't know that we would approve a reservation anymore,
I-
right?
yeah, I don't
Is that
think-
something we're
I
not-
got it.
I don't think we would approve a reservation. But I know there's differing opinions as you can kind of see. Some are more apt towards, restricting their rights, and some of us are more,
Per levels. I think
yeah,
Privileges.
I'm way
prefer the
more
word
inclined to
privileges.
approve a tier
No,
one
right.
than a
Okay.
tier 10.
that's,
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, this
like
would be
front would
tier
definitely
one
give more
clarification.
Definitely.
preference,
Tier one.
especially if you don't have any other docks there right now.
Yeah, there's nothing. there.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful trees.
No, we're talking about the developments that are moving further and further away from the
Yeah.
lake, and how much access should they really have if they're not even next to their
Yeah.
dock?
At what point are you considered near the lake and not at the lake? And
Yeah.
That's,
Okay.
A concern that's in my mind, Debbie, is the fact that so much of the shoreline has obvious signs of human activity. How much of that do we want? I mean, I've heard complaints about docks that we've allowed that are just beside the spillway building. I mean, there's other areas I can give you other examples of that was such a beautiful landscape. And then we let somebody put a house, which we don't have any say over the houses.
No.
But then, of course, they want to dock right down from their house. And, we hear people on both sides.
Yeah.
We hear people saying, let them build docks. We hear people saying, enough is enough. And we need to try to decide where to draw that line.
we already have it on.
Well, and yeah.
Well, and it was less of an issue, 20, 30 years ago,
Yeah.
where now it's become more of a
We'll
development.
be happy with one dog. We don't need 2. or
Well,
whatever.
yeah, so.
But it makes a big difference on the value.
We understand.
Yeah,
That's why they put
absolutely,
that dock in the mud puddle down from your house.
Okay, well, thanks for entertaining the question anyway.
I'll move to adjourn.
A second.
You have mayor's concerns. I have some things I want to talk to y'all about. So no, not yet. I've been thinking about this for a while, and over the years, we have appointed council people for positions that nobody does anything about.
Excuse me.
And then we have some people that are a little bit overactive. And so I was going to, and we all should be working on things as a council, and we shouldn't have one person or two people being overly involved with certain projects, and I feel like that's happened. So I am not going to, as a mayor, appoint anybody to anything right now. It's not a requirement. It's not in the ordinances. I've already talked to Todd about this. That doesn't mean you guys can't work on the projects that you love to work on. But ever since we've had a supervisor, it seems like, the different things that we do, everybody gets involved with to a certain extent. I just think that when you have the position of the lake, and I had that position years ago, and I helped build a lot of things out there, and when they took it away from me, they didn't even tell me they were going to do it, and they gave me no reason why. But that doesn't mean I didn't continue working on the lake. It just meant I think they thought I was making too many friends, too many enemies, and too many favorites. And I see that. And so that's just the way it is. That doesn't mean that, Tim, you can't keep doing what you're doing.
So you just verified that this is all about me. Thank you.
And it's about Brett. And the way that, it is. It's just that
Okay, so-
people talk about you guys you must have favorites out there and stuff like that. I'm not gonna sit there and defend you about it because I don't know.
No, you're
if
not,
you do or
Dolly. You're gonna sit there at your business and tell people that you tell Tim and I all the time to be nice to the people, and you don't understand why we can't get along with them. I mean, people come to me all the time with stuff that you
Why would
regurgitate out of your mouth.
Why would I tell anybody about that would go to you and tell you that?
We know what
Obviously,
you say,
Dolly, you don't. Yeah, we're not gonna get into this. The simple fact of the matter is okay. So Tim's not the lake rep now. So Tim doesn't have to worry about going out and checking all this stuff and doing all this. And
No,
doing
let
all
him
that.
go because this is my
Yeah,
concern.
good.
He's gonna
So,
say what I'm
When
thinking.
Tim bows out and doesn't put all that extra time into there, who's stepping up to do it? Because tonight, here at this meeting, we voted on stuff that Tim went out and saw. So if Tim's not going out to do it, Dolly, are you? No, you're not, because you can't walk down there. So who is going to do it?
Justin is strapped for time. Brad doesn't go out there. She doesn't go out there. He
Oh,
works
hold
out
on,
there.
hold on. I am also strapped for time.
Well, I don't know that. That's what he already threw that out.
Sorry.
I'm not saying that you're not.
Sam.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you're not.
I work
you
my
guys
job,
make a
so
lot
I'm
of jabs
strapped for
about
time,
us
too.
not going to the lake to see it, but please back up and stop throwing that on the table because we put as much time into this council as you guys do.
I'm not saying that
And
you
I
don't.
I can
I
literally throw you under the bus just as badly. I don't appreciate the digs at every single meeting. I'm going to put that out right now.
I need examples of the digs apparently.
I guess, have you been to a single park thing? No.
I used
there
to
are a
run
lot
the
of things.
park, young lady,
Great.
and it got taken away
Great.
from me.
What I'm talking about is present
I gave
tense.
her that.
I'm tired of being told, well, unlike other people. I mean, last meeting, we had a property that's a block from Main Street, and you admitted, I haven't seen it. And I told you that something was happening there that you weren't aware of. Okay? I'm not going to drag it up because I don't want to talk about that. But I am tired of the digs of, well, you guys don't go out to the lake. Well, I'm so sorry. I don't have every address memorized at the lake either.
Neither do I.
Great.
I had to follow a map to get out there,
Okay.
and
But can we please drop that down? Because we are putting in
you're
our
getting
best
a little
efforts.
overly excited about something
Okay.
that hasn't taken
Oh,
place.
wait a minute. Now, if you want excitement, you guys are over
I am
involved.
just
Over
defending
involved and
myself.
demanding.
If
and
that is not the pot calling the kettle black, Dolly, I do not know what
I
is.
have put in the time, baby, for years and years and years. And my efforts I try to be fair to everybody out there. I try not to have favorites, all of that stuff. And I try to do what's best for the city. And we don't even talk about the city right now. It's all about what we can do at the lake, for God's sakes. We need which I had a note here. I got somebody that wants to be the dog catcher. Would you like her to be it? And so let's put an ad in, which I'm going to recommend. We're going to put an ad. I'm going to say this real fast. I'm going to put an ad in the paper for a dog catcher. I asked her to put in an application, and we're going to, and I'm going to use her as a temporary dog catcher until we get applications in. If nobody, wants her, if everybody wants her, which you probably will, it's Sally Davis. There, almost forgot. See, I had that and I even had it marked. So let's calm down a little bit. Let's think about that. You guys think about your over involvement with the lake and the lake people. I love them more than you guys know. And I've been involved in that lake, and I've helped build it, and I helped start the very things that you guys are predatory over. Boy, that was a big speech. All right. Anyway, can we talk about this some more later? I told you it was going to be interesting, and it was going to be. I didn't get a hold of you, but I tried to get a hold of everybody else.
Oh yeah, you never did.
I don't have your phone number anymore. You got to give it to me, buddy, if you want me to call you and send you messages and things. Although I think I could Facebook you, couldn't I? Do you have a Facebook thing? That's the only way I find some people's Facebook.
I still move to adjourn, and I thank
agree
you for
with that.
creating more chaos on the council.
You're welcome. We have to wait for a second.
It's
I
already.
already
been
done
seconded.
second.
Oh, didn't hear it. All in favor? 4.
Thanks for hosting me, Justin.
Well, you're welcome. Sorry for the
Hope
technical
you feel better,
difficulties.
buddy. Get well.
That's not me.
I know. I just,
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Have a
Take
good
care,
time.
Tom.
Too
Did
much
that,
drama.
did that pass unanimously?
No, Tim
What,
didn't.
what?
He abstained.
No, yeah. Didn't ask if he was opposed technically. I don't
Really give a flying.
think it matters.
No.
God, bless America. I missed the Chiefs game for this.
Oh, that's right. We had beanie weenies at the house.
You know, we tell you what scores?
Oh, I know. I've been looking.
I have it.
I do not
What is the
always
score?
pay attention to what's going
What
on
is the
next to
score?
me. I watched, I sat right there and watched a certain
We're losing?
electric guy watch a game the whole time.
You watched who? Oh, I thought you said a Thetford guy. And I was like, Jason's never
No,
been out there.
no.
Are we losing?
No, 27-10.
We're winning? Ah, and we're at Baltimore too. Wow.
Baltimore? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I apologize. I was
No, they're
playing on my phone, but
they
I'm
are-
like, I gotta check the scores.
No, that's actually good because Baltimore is a Super Bowl contending team. So if you can go into their place and beat them like that, you're
Yeah.
gonna
Well,
get
that is wonderful news.
So do you have to dial 9 to always get out here, or?
No.
What the hell?
Did you dial 9 to get out?
Yeah, finally worked my
Maybe
dial
it's
9.
just on
Unless
this
it's
machine.
just
I
this.
don't know.
Do you maybe? Is it?
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. I mean,
It might have been, this might be an old, what is
That's what I was gonna say. I wonder if this.
well, that ain't plugged in right now.
Oh, it's not
I-
plugged
I
in.
took the.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know.
What are the
Yeah.
voices that I'm hearing?
Those guys.
Oh, those guys. Well, if you think I'm gonna sit there and let them yell at me,
Settings, conference.
because I've got 2 years of bitchiness built up in me. This is the first time I haven't been dizzy all day.
Maybe getting riled up is good for you.
Well, I know Annie's been getting upset with them being, what is it that men do, Justin? Which you don't
Don't
do.
single
No,
Justin.
no. He's like my son. He loves women. Smart women especially. And Annie's a smart woman.
So did you steal this from work, or is it something?
No,
that-
this is something they gave us. I asked for advice, and he's like, "Hey, we got one of these things." Sure.
Well, I mean, you could understand him very well. I don't
Well,
know how.
That was my speaker on the laptop because it would not let me, because I knew there were some problems with Teams before. It's like, they're probably gonna mess up. So when I tried to call in using this thing into there, it said 449-7219 is waiting in the lobby. I pressed accept. It just sits there and spins and spins.
Oh.
I didn't want to go through the whole deal of trying to call again and, kicking off, and that may or may not recognize it. It wasn't trying to get in
Okay.
anymore, and I don't know what.
But at
wrong
least,
with
you
this
know,
thing,
with you
but-
guys, when you guys were talking, it was a little bit garbled. At least Todd wasn't garbled on your thing.
Yeah. I heard some kind of crackling on that. It was the same crackling that I've heard before on that other conference phone, so it makes me think that jack is bad, or the wire that goes to it is also an issue. These things have really good speakers. I mean, they've got 3 different ways. It's got noise canceling,
It
and
looks like one of those.
it's like a dang spaceship.
Yeah. And you'll have to, whenever I get excited, sometimes I have a tendency to go off here and over here.
Yeah.
But they can say what they want to say. People don't like the way they talk to us, and they don't like the way they talk to me. I'm going, anyhow.
Yeah.
And I frankly think that I worked with them on the pool. God, we go back 25 years.
Yeah.
Pool committee, they were impossible to work with.
I bet. I can only
Well,
imagine there.
and they come in and you think they're going to be so great, and then they take over,
Yeah.
and then they run people off. And so, anyway,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The last straw was the application for Leslie. That was my last straw.
Yeah.
Because I don't need that.
Yeah.
You gonna turn everything off?
Well, I can't walk up, so I'll just come in sometime. That's that stupid thing.
Just don't let it bother you. Keep you awake at night.
No problem there.
I do. I wake up at 4 o'clock the last 2 nights. 2 nights, and probably doesn't. Actually, I think I did quite well because I'm one of the only women. Because women create drama, not discussion. Women create upsetness and not discussion.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, and I won't even listen to that.
Yeah.
I'm too old to listen to that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have it yet. Look at that one there.
I'll shut that off. So maybe turn that into a double jack and then run both of those things. I might talk to Bone about that. There we go.
Oh,
That one goes up.
Radio.
Yeah.
Thank you.